All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this webinar from the College of Education and Human Development. And I'm really excited to have our presenters here today to talk about personalizing learning during uncertain times. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. I do want to let you know that this webinar is being recorded. So we will have that available hopefully within the next few days for you. And also, there will be a follow-up email with some of the resources that are shared here today. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to you, Jered.
Thank you, Jenna. Can everyone see and hear me? One thing I'll say is please use the chat throughout this. You'll notice that I think the default is to send something to all panelists, but if you can change that default to all panelists and attendees, that's great. We hope that you guys feel comfortable sharing your thoughts as we go. And whenever you have questions, please jump on and type it in the chat box. We'd love to hear those, and we'll get to them the best that we can. So as Jenna was saying, we are going to be learning about personalizing learning during uncertain times. This is certainly, the only certain thing is that it's uncertain right now, right? There's so many things coming at us all at once as educators. And so how do we personalize student learning? How do we have quality teaching and learning experiences during this crisis? A little bit about me and about the program I teach in. So I'm in the Learning Technologies in Schools program. We have a master's degree and a graduate certificate. We have fully online and blended options. So I've been teaching online for about 10 years now, even before I came to Mason. And additional program information can be found at this bit.ly. Maybe Chrissy could put it in the chat for everybody. So we just want to start by introducing ourselves. So my name is Jered Borup. I'm at George Mason University. I've been here about 7 years. These are my families. So this is my wife and my 2 daughters. You'll probably hear them during the presentation. The picture directly below that is actually the first teaching family that I had when I started teaching in 9th grade at a junior high school in Idaho. I'm the tall guy in the back, and continuing on with that theme, I'm also in the bottom picture, the tall guy in the back. They always take the tall guys in the back, but this is my family now, my academic family, and I get to work with them in the Division of Learning Technologies. So Chrissy, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, my name is Chrissy McLaughlin. I'm currently a 6th grade advanced academics teacher in Virginia, and this is the start of my 20th year in education. And I am a proud graduate from the program that Jered was sharing with you guys. I had finished it a couple of years ago, and it just was beyond anything that I had ever expected it. It was the best online experience that I had ever had in school. And I can say hands down that it has helped me better engage my students in the classroom, and it has helped me become a better educator and kind of reminded me how to like reinvigorate my classroom and my students. So I'm very grateful for it.
And I think we've done about like 20 presentations together over the last few years. So it's always great to present with Chrissy. Let's start with actually a poll. So if you go to this bit.ly, I'm going to go ahead and put this in the chat. If you go here, there will be a poll. I'm going to go ahead and start that. So I have a couple questions. The first one, what has been your biggest challenge regarding teaching? So I already see some good comments here.
When you put it in the chat, does it have to go to all panelists and attendees?
Oh, all panelists and attendees, yes, thank you.
All right, I got it.
And actually,
I don't speak the Zoom lingo.
Wait, don't do it just yet. I want to. Sorry. I realized that there was already some results, so I'm going to reset the results. Okay, good. Okay. So go ahead and visit that. Chrissy, did you put it in the chat?
I think I did.
Okay, great. So what has been your biggest challenge? I know that we've had lots of challenges. Some of you are teachers, some of you might not be. Maybe you're a parent, or maybe you teach in higher education. But what are your biggest challenges currently during 2020? Is everyone getting access to that? Oh, Jane, thanks for posting. Normally it comes up automatically, so I don't know. Huh. Okay. Well, this might not work. So speaking of challenges, sometimes the technology doesn't work as you expected. I've done this a few times and never had an issue. So yeah, okay. Well, why don't you just type it in the chat then? Actually, let's go ahead and skip to this one. Finish this sentence, if you don't mind. Good instruction is what? So in the chat, if you could kind of fill in that blank. You don't need to go to the Mentimeter. Okay, Jackie says personalize. Catherine says engaging. Great. Empowering, yeah, that's a great one. Yeah, results driven, you know, you want to have an impact. Inclusive, definitely right now, we want to make sure that we're inclusive as possible. Motivating, planned, good. And Tom, even when you are planned, things can go wrong, as you can see from this. Flexible, challenging, yes, good, good. Yeah, I think all of these are true, right? One thing that we can all agree on is that good instruction is not one size fits all. We know that all of our students are different, and so we have to teach them in different ways. So one thing we want to focus on is making good instruction that is personalized for our students. So what does that mean when we say personalized? There's kind of 4 dimensions of personalization. One is providing students with choice in their learning place, their learning time, their learning pace, and their learning path. So place is where they're learning. The time is a time of day that they're learning, or even the time of week. Pace is how quickly are they going through the material. And path is really how are they achieving mastery and demonstrating mastery. So are you giving them choice in actually how they're learning and how they're demonstrating their learning? So during COVID, this has become especially important, especially when we talk about the place of learning, because we cannot meet with our students oftentimes. That's slowly changing in a lot of areas, but many places, including Northern Virginia, we have not had the opportunity to really work with our students in person. And so we've had to really personalize our place in the sense that we're allowing teachers to teach from home and students to learn from home. But even when we go back to school, it's going to be very different. And we're not going to have as much flexibility in the place of learning in the classroom as we normally do, right? Because we still have to maintain social distancing and some regulations like that. So pacing has been a huge challenge. And thank goodness we have Zoom or Google Meet or Blackboard Collaborate that we can meet in these virtual settings and try to do some of the things that we would have done in person. But this can be especially challenging. So let me share with you just a short video clip that is all too real for what teachers are going through. Oops.
Hi, Oh my, mute your mics. Mute your mics. Hi guys. Hi. So excited to see you. Hi. Oh yeah, you have a dog. Yeah, she's so cute. Aw. Hi puppy. Oh, you have a dog. Well, don't be careful with your, wow. You have a cat. Aw. Everyone has pets to show. Awesome. You have a lizard. You have a snake. Nope. Out. Jordan, do you want to try and maybe like turn your camera up so that I'm not looking up your nose? No. You don't, this is kind of like my office. You don't need to see the rest of my house. Oh, you don't have to ask if you can go to the bathroom. You can just go. It's your house. But wash your hands. No, don't bring your computer into the bathroom. No one needs to see that. No. All right. Happy Wednesday. It's Thursday? Wow, sorry, the days are kind of blended together here. Yes, I do see you have your pajamas on today. Cool. Oh, you have pajamas on too. Yeah, they're SpongeBob. Ooh, yeah, rainbow unicorn pajamas. Wow, everyone's yelling what their pajamas are. Okay, awesome. All right, I have a huge announcement. I'm so excited to share. Oh, you can't? Okay, well, my headphones are plugged in. You can't hear me, so hello? 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 Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? All right, so everybody sees this right here. What we're gonna do is, oh, it's backwards? Okay, so let's try it like this. Is that better? So that assignment is gonna be on Google. Your mom has a question? No. You don't need to take me to your mom. No, we're in the, okay. Hi, Mrs. Clark. Yeah, do you think that we could talk later? Guys, we're not taking our time to talk about Minecraft right now. No, I do not play Minecraft. So no, on the Minecraft, let's talk about it later. Let's focus. No to Pokemon too. We're not talking about Pokemon right now. All right, hey, so Jess. I'm literally teaching a class right now. Oh my, whoa! Hi guys, sorry about that. Yeah, no, this is my fancy office when everyone else is being so loud in my house. Talk about fractions during, who is listening to Post Malone? So like, is that necessary? Ow. So just apply what we've been talking about for the last 30 minutes or so and put that work. Oh, you just logged in, so you didn't hear any of that lesson there. Awesome. Okay, so I'll just go over that again. Yep. Wow, you guys are all talking at the same time. It's like we're actually in our classroom. I miss you guys. Hi.
I love that. You know, it's such an unexpected time right now that teachers are being very, very adaptable, and they're having to learn new things every minute, every second, every moment of the day, and you just can't plan entirely for these synchronous sessions. You don't know what's going to happen. You can just plan the best that you can. And I saw this tweet just today when I was finishing up this presentation, and I think it really resonated with me, and I think with a lot of teachers, this idea that at the start of the year, there was so much adrenaline going, and we can do this, rah, rah, rah. And now that we're about 6 weeks in or whatever it is, it's the adrenaline is worn off and it's getting harder. And it's been kind of a struggle for teachers and for students. So I see posts like this all the time on social media where maybe a student has been crying or a teacher's been crying. And not that doesn't happen in person. I promise you that you walk into any elementary school and there's going to be a child crying somewhere in the building, or teachers are having a hard time. You know, that isn't unique, but it has felt kind of overwhelming this year for students, for parents, and for teachers. So how can we make it a little bit better? Well, one is that we need to learn how to manage it a little bit better. It can feel almost impossible to keep things in a line going exactly how we want. We have to be adaptable, but there are some things that we can do to kind of help with that. So Christy, do you want to share some strategies?
Sure. So this is a picture of my craziness right now. I have converted my guest bedroom into my classroom/office. And I have set up every day there was a problem, and we're like, okay, let's figure out how to solve that. So I expanded from my small laptop to my bigger computer. And then from there, I expanded to my TV. I have an old TV that I found in a closet hanging up on a stand because I manage multiple meetings and students. And I wanted the kids to feel like my presence. And so instead of just watching me with a document camera, watching my handwrite, I installed a whiteboard you can see hanging behind me. So I set up my doc camera and I write, I engage with the students so they can see me again. And then I have like on the other side of my desk, I put a chair that used to be in my living room. I just brought it upstairs to a table next to it. And every day I sit in my chair and I read to the kids with my dog. My dog likes to come in and say hello and sniff the camera. The kids, that if they love it, they want Ludo to be their class pet. But it's just like it's a normal moment to be able to have them and connect with them and read with them, and they really enjoy it. So I would say like the thing that I learned the most to survive this year so far is just to adapt and just to have this grace with each other, that if something doesn't work, it's okay. We'll figure it out. I'll figure it out on your end. We'll figure it out on my end, but we're in this together. So it's been a process of it's evolving. We're still problem solving, but it's getting there. Thank you. Oh, you're on mute still.
Chrissy's lucky because she had a guest room that she can use. That isn't the case for every teacher. I mean, I've seen pictures where parents are teaching and they have toys all over the room, you know, or a baby pad on the floor by their feet, right? And so it's just been super hard to manage everything. But I think what Chrissy has done is she looks at what she has available to her and finds what works and tries new things and just keeps experimenting throughout the year. Learning can be really frustrating though when students only can personalize their place of learning. So we also want to focus on the other dimensions. So let's talk a minute about personalizing the place and time and pace of learning. I know that many teachers have to kind of have so much synchronous time, but even during synchronous time or real-time instruction with students, you can still provide them with some opportunities to go at their own pace, similar to what you do in an in-person classroom. So here is Chrissy. She is a fantastic teacher. I've seen her teach. She's wonderful. But Chrissy, the real life in-person Chrissy, she cannot personalize students' learning as far as the place, the time, and pace. Chrissy has to be at a certain place, teaching at a certain time. Maybe she can adjust the pace for students. But her by herself can be really challenging. And that was before COVID, and now during COVID, it's even more challenging. So there's certain things that you can do. We talked about, you know, putting Chrissy on a Zoom call with her students. That certainly can personalize the place of learning, but that alone does not personalize the time or the pace of instruction. So let's say you go on you're Chrissy's student and you go on there and you have a Zoom call, and then she gives you some text or a book to work on your own time. So technically that book allows you to personalize your time and pace, but a book isn't always the best way to learn, as we can see in this video.
That's not the way you're supposed to do it, Dad. They want us to do it this
I don't
way.
know that way. Why would they change math? Math is math.
Okay,
Math
Dad.
is math.
I'll just wait for Mom to get back.
What? Well, she won't understand it any better than I do.
So that happens on dining room tables across the country. I'm sure it's happening right now, that it can be a challenge helping your students. So when students only have a book, you're putting more responsibility on parents that are already kind of maxed out and asking them to kind of facilitate some of this learning. And it's really challenging if there's only a book. So there's some other things that you can do. Here is a website that Chrissy created for her students. And you can see that she has some directions on what to do. And she's also created these nice video clips.
Hello, boys and girls. I'm going to be giving you a chart in a couple of minutes, and I'm going to ask that you explore the pattern of positive and negative exponents. But in order to get you started, I just want to show you one quick example of how to do negative exponents, since that's new to you.
So you can see it almost feels like she's there with you, right? And so that's really the goal is yes, we want to be there in real time with our students, but when we can't, when they need to personalize their time and their pace of learning, then creating resources that they can use where it feels like you're with them as well. So when you look at Chrissy's website, there's digital Chrissy's all over the website. There's also tools that you can use that are very robust. This is, I believe, from Khan Academy, where you can work and get feedback along the way. So there's lots of programs like that. But even that does not replace a teacher. So a video does not replace a teacher. But at the same time, a teacher doesn't replace the need for a video either, because we know that a teacher can't do everything. So allowing teachers to kind of offload some of their instructional responsibilities so that they can do what they do best, which is working with students, answering questions, facilitating their learning, is best.
Can I add that since I started creating videos in my classroom and putting them up on my websites, my students have really benefited from it, and they really appreciate it, because a lot of the time, so I teach elementary school, and a lot of the times they're embarrassed to raise their hand and ask questions, and so they feel like the video is like a little bit of a safety net for them, where they can go home and watch it. And I have parents who've emailed me and contacted me and said they appreciate it as well, because they can hear the way that I've delivered in class, and it helps them support their children at home. So it's definitely something that has transformed my math classroom, that they have that ability to go back and relook at our lessons.
Yeah, and I think that's so important, because we as a parent and teachers, students, we're all looking forward to the opportunity when we can return to the classroom safely. But we're also going to have to change how we teach. And so even before the pandemic, Chrissy was personalizing her students' learning. And as a community, we really need to go in that direction. Chrissy, do you want to talk about this? Was this your?
Yeah, sure. So we use Google Classroom a lot in my school, Google Sites, all Google products. And so before COVID hit, we were using Google Classroom a little willy-nilly, like we weren't as organized. We would just post something, we'd be there to tell our students, hey, go find that assignment and do it. And then we realized that as soon as COVID hit, that we needed to have like uber organization, because the students were feeling stressed. They didn't know our design, they didn't know where things were, and what the intention of the things were that we were sharing. So we got very organized. So we put posts in our Google Classroom that's labeled the week. So it is week 7, just in case you were wondering, Jered. You said 6, it's 7, 7.5. So that we post what week it is, the date, and then every single assignment. It's even gotten a little bit more organized since this was in the spring, but it says, Monday. And so the kids know exactly, on this week, on Monday, this is what I need to do. And we've gotten really close with Google Classroom. I've created videos for parents as well and students, so they know how to navigate it better and use the tools like, the calendar, and how the icon colors change depending on if they turn things in. So we're really trying to teach students to be a lot more autonomous and problem solvers with organizing and using Google Classroom.
Yeah, just using Google Classroom is not going to make for a great experience. You have to use it well, and you have to teach students how to use it well. So that's a big part of the management issue. One strategy, this is one of my students over the summer who's also a teacher. She created this, and you notice that she added icons along the way to kind of cue students into different activity types. And then the nice thing about Google Classroom is that you can integrate it with Google Slides or Google Documents and things like that, where students get their own copy to work on automatically, and it just helps them stay much more organized. This is another one of my students, and you'll notice that he started each unit with a video, kind of introducing the unit, similar to what you would do in person. This does not replace what he was doing live in maybe a Zoom call, but he created it in a way that if you were not able to attend the Zoom class or the synchronous class, you could still do it on your own. And I think that type of flexibility, that type of planning is really important, because it's hard to know what students are going through. And that same teacher also created Google Documents for a lot of the content, a lot of the instruction. So here's a hyperdoc that he created, where there's places for students to type their answers and things like that. It's easy to access, get your own copy, and then turn it in Classroom. So some have combined the Classroom with Google Sites. So Google Sites is a website. Oh, okay. So I'm going to close my chat. So I'll rely on Jenna if you want to fill me in when there's questions. So there's also Google Sites that you can use. Google Sites is a free website tool provided through Google. There's lots of other tools, but here's one teacher, and you can see that it's a very simple organization, starting with an orientation or an introduction, would have clear activities and then assessments along the way. And then would also have the lessons in the sidebar there. So Chrissy, do you want to, I'm going to stop sharing and let Chrissy share some of what she's doing.
I can share when you stop sharing. It won't let me.
Okay, there you go.
Thank you. Oh, actually, I need to not be in that mode. Hold on just a second. So I'm going to just take you on like a quick little tour of some of the websites that I have that I use with my students. So just to kick off the year, I decided this year for the first time ever, I was going to have to create a homeroom website because I wanted a place for my students to be able to quickly and easily find what they need to do, and then also feel like they still have a sense of community, that they're in my physical classroom. So I got on the bandwagon, I created a Bitmoji classroom, except I put the real me in it. And it's filled with a whole bunch of links, so it's functional. So the first day of school, kids could click on this and it would be a video of my dog. And then the kids could watch my dog. It was eating a puppuccino for his birthday. So the kids got like a little sense of who I was. This was a video of me hiking, a video of hippos, but then I also have practical things here. So it was a link to all the different resources that we use on a regular basis. And like this is a Google form that we use every single Wednesday. It's our midweek check-in. So I have it there on my whiteboard so the kids can have easy access to it. But other things that are really important for my students here is to help organize them, and the parents as well, is they have what we call the weekly. So the whole 6th grade team updates this, and it's on all of our websites. So the students have hyperlinks and they can directly get to the assignments that they are working on for the day. And we broke down the weekly even more into the daily, so that way they have a specific layout of everything that they need to accomplish within the day. So they use this, we do a wrap up at the end of every day. We look at the daily together and we say, okay, you need to do this, 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 this. And that's kind of, we go over their checklist. But then we have other fun things and, well, practical things, I should say. I have a tech tip page. So this is for parents. And my students were having like a hard time with getting their video quality goods, so I then made a quick little tutorial. I showed them how to tag me in comments and lots of different things here. When questions are popping up, I make sure that I put them here so the kids have quick access, so I don't have to continue to repeat myself. But we also I have all of the website links so they can get to the specialist website, the library website. So it's kind of a one-stop shop for them. But we also have fun stuff here as well. So to get to know each other for the very first month or quarter of school, we're doing VIPs. So all the students get to share a little bit about themselves. So they have this special section. They get to take the mic on our BBCU meet and they get to talk about themselves. So they love it. And then I put their information here. And then also for parents, I had a quick meet the teacher so they can click through. I had a video from me. So the kids got to hear from me on the first day of school, and then they watched this 2-minute video to learn a little bit more about the things that I like. And then we have all of our emails here. So this is more like a practical space for them. So that way they can come here first if they want to get to anything else, any of the curriculum pages. And then it's like our calendar and things that are helpful for them. But then we also have created, this is my math website. So the students, I have it organized much more to the day than I ever have before, because before COVID, we were in the classroom with them. I could tell them, hey, click here. We're going to stop in the middle of this page today and we're going to pick up here tomorrow. So I've redesigned my math website to be very specific. So we are on week 7 and they drop this down, and these are our lessons for each of the days. So for our lesson today, it has the same formula. So every day they come in and they do a warm up while we're getting ready, or we do some kind of like math activity. And then I have the practice for them. And then I break them out into small groups. So I do 4 rotations in 40 minutes. It's like super fast and I'm tired at the end of it, but kids jump into a meet. We do a 10-minute, we do solve some problems together. And then the kids on their own have independent work to work on. And then they do this program. And then I always leave them some enrichment. So every day our lesson is the same formula. It's the same thing. The only thing that changes is this middle section. Sometimes we do breakout groups. Sometimes we do whole group activities. Sometimes we do small group activities. But this predictability allows my students then, before the lesson is even started, I can see them in the materials. I can see them on the website. They already have things open and they know exactly what to do. So I had a student absent today. She can go right to the website and she can accomplish everything that we did without having to be synchronous with me. And then we also laid out all of our grade 6 website has the rest: language arts, science, and social studies. So we kept that consistency. The kids come to language arts and they drop down and they see week 7, which is where I am now. And then they come down and they see, hey, this is what we're doing on Monday. So one of the things that's really difficult in the synchronous time is I'm delivering a synchronous lesson. So the kids, sometimes if I'm going a little bit too fast for them, they know they have all the resources here, and they also have videos that they can go back and rewatch should they need to. So everything is posted and embedded on the website for them, so they can come back here and they can learn at their own pace if they need to. And each of the teachers on our team, we all kind of head up a different part of the website, so it's not too overwhelming where I'm not having to curate and do all of it. So I'm in charge of math 7. I run that for the team, and then everybody has a different spot. So we use this in conjunction with Google Classroom, and just it's been wonderful to have, like I said, that consistency and that predictability for students.
That is not easy to do, by the way, right, Chrissy?
Yeah.
That's an incredible amount of work. And so when you see on social media people say thank a teacher right now, I think that's a good reason why. I think we all saw that. So it's a lot of work to do, especially the first time. But what she created can also be used, repeatedly, even when we go back to in-person learning. So Chanel, yeah. So Padlet is a great way to communicate both synchronously and asynchronously with Google Classroom. So thanks for sharing that. One key to kind of making learning more personalized in students' place, time, and pace is the content. And so yes, you can create text directions and things like that, but some things are just best done either using audio or video. So in the next slide, we're going to focus on video just a little bit, and what makes for a good video. It's been so easy to create videos right now. There's lots of tools. If your school district doesn't provide you with a tool, or your university doesn't provide you with a tool, there are plenty of tools that you can use, like Screencast-O-Matic, Loom, Screencastify. All of them have different affordances and benefits and drawbacks, so you want to learn those. I use primarily Screencast-O-Matic because I can make videos for 15 minutes, but I would not do that. But it gives me a little bit of flexibility. But they also allow you to do webcam only or screen only, or combine your webcam with your screen, right? So what makes for a good video? On the next slide, we see that you have 4 options here. Option A is just a Zoom call, right, that they recorded, which we're going to send out. Maybe you're watching one right now, I don't know. And then B is more kind of just a video showing the teacher he's holding things up, maybe writing on a board. C is Khan Academy, where he's using this digital ink. And then D is just a narrated PowerPoint. So in the chat, vote. Which do you think is the most engaging? A, B, C, or D? Go ahead and put your selection in the chat box. I don't want to bias you, but I did create D. So That is my video. Okay, so okay, we got a B. All right, just webcam video. Another B. Oh, B is in the lead big time. B and D. Okay. I wonder if that B was just a charity vote for my video. I'm not sure. Okay, so B is kind of winning, which is kind of cool, right? I think that students want to see you, and that kind of plays out in the research a little bit as well. So let's go down to the next slide. There's been research on this. So what makes for a good video? What is a video students are going to watch? One is, even if it's a good video, you probably have 6 to 10 minutes. Now that is not a hard rule. I mean, kids sit down and watch 90-minute movies, so we know that they will watch a video if it's entertaining and they like it. But in general, they watch for about 6 to 10 minutes. And this is research with adults. And so you can imagine with kids, you really want to keep them short. They like video that shows the instructor. So when you guys voted B, that isn't too surprising. We want to see the instructor. Oftentimes that video is combined with slides or other visuals. They want to see the instructor in personal settings. So we saw with Chrissy how she kind of moved around the room, and that's even in a live call, but also in videos, you can do the same thing. Also, they like to see the instructor writing or drawing. That's always really engaging for students. And they want the teacher to care. They want the teacher to be excited about what they're covering. If the teacher doesn't care, the student's not going to care, right? So the next video, let's look at some quick examples. Let's skip this one actually. So we saw some of Chrissy's examples. Let's play a little bit of this first one.
Hey guys, here's the video for our second continental math week. Sorry, it took me a little while to get it together. So the first question is asking us this equation and to the coefficient 1/8 k, same thing, right? So how do I get rid of 1/8? We multiply.
So Chrissy, what were you using to create that?
So I have a Microsoft Surface, like a tablet. So I write on the screen and I put all of my documents, a PDF, into OneNote, and then I'm able to mark it up. And this is not the most exciting video, but the kids do a meet 5 times a year. And it used to take me over an hour of live instruction time to go over the meet. So I took it over, and it was me going, okay, you still don't understand question number 1. Let me try to explain it again. Okay, you still don't? And then like 7 kids were sleeping in the class because they were like, I get it, you know? So I started to transition then to just recording. It takes me an hour still to do it because I set it up, and then I record myself solving the problems. And so it's a little bit of a longer video. It's 11 minutes. Sometimes I max out my screencast-o-matic too. But the kids will watch it, and they watch it with their parents, and then they have to reflect on it. What's something new that you learned? What's a mistake that you noticed that you made? And they comment on that in Google Classroom.
So there's there's lots of ways to do this. So she used a pretty expensive tablet that her, I think, school provided for you, right?
No.
Oh, okay. So she's spending her own money on this. So it can be expensive, but there are other workarounds. So if you don't want to spend $800 or $1,000 on a Surface Pro, you can. In the next slide, we see you can use your cell phone and just a sheet of paper. So there are stands that you can use and kind of record it as you write on the piece of paper. On the next slide, one of my students who teaches art did that, and let's just watch a little bit of this.
And the neck. I'm going to go ahead and start to build up the torso or upper body.
So that's good. But I think these types of videos are really engaging. I can sit and watch him draw for a long time, right? And it's the same thing with kind of writing notes and things like that. So I asked him, how much did you spend on that stand? And he said $30. So then I was thinking, what could I do to save $30? Because that's where my mind goes. And so in the next slide, you see that I figured it out. I can just take some books, stack them up, and then I put my camera there and I hit record and I could draw, and that was good. probably worth the $30 if you're going to do that a lot, but it can be a really engaging video, very low tech at the same time. The other thing is that you can record your screen, and you can do that really well. In the next slide, we can see in the first video, let's play just a little bit of that.
And how to distinguish between the three. The first one that we're going to talk about is my favorite, which is the ionic column. The sides of the ionic column kind of look like they're swirly. It actually is supposed to look like a scroll. If you would take a paper and roll it up on both sides, that would be a scroll. But the way that I was taught to remember this way back when I was in 6th grade is if you think about those swirls looking like some crazy eyes, that's an ionic column. So it's kind of like a funny way for you.
Yeah, let's stop there. I love that. When you go down to DC and you're at the Library of Congress, you will see iconic columns, right? So you can do that. But what she did as well is she did an edited video. So there are lots of programs that let you edit videos. It's getting easier and easier to do. So don't say I couldn't do that, because the technology is getting a lot easier. But let's watch just a little bit of this.
Let's take a walk downtown and see what we can see.
Okay, I'll pause it there. But I love this because you can show students things that they couldn't see otherwise and really show them their community and make connections that way. So in the next slide, this is one of my favorite videos. Let's just play a little bit.
Okay, hi students, this is Mrs. Cusson, and today I'm in Fairfax County with a detective doing a ride along so I can show you some of the information that we've been going over in the ATON unit and how it relates to our gang unit and injury and violence prevention.
Okay, so let's pause that. So this is not something, even if you could take your students on a ride along, you probably wouldn't do that, right? For safety reasons. But here she could actually show students their community and maybe hopefully parts of the community that they wouldn't have seen otherwise. And it's really a great example of how a video can be really engaging for students. And the next one, this is another one of my students created this. This is a rap battle.
The year is 1765, and tensions were mounting between the British government and the colonists. There was only one way to settle the conflict. With the rap battle! Introducing from across the sea, King George III. King George III, that's my name.
Okay, we can.
Trying to get to you.
But I love that, right? Using a green screen, that's becoming even easier. In fact, sometimes you don't even need the green screen anymore. It'll kind of recognize it. So the technology just keeps getting better, and teachers and students can be even more creative. Okay, so we've talked about personalizing place, time, and pace. Now let's talk about personalizing path. This is probably the hardest one to do and perhaps most meaningful for students. So a good way to start is a this or that. You can give students a choice. Do you want to do this or do you want to do that? And it might be something really small, right? But that is a good place to not only start as a teacher, but to help students start on making decisions with their learning.
So this is an example of a fun activity I did just right back when everything started with COVID. It was something I found. It was a free resource online, and I just customized it for my kiddos. So there was a choice board of all these different activities they could do, and I sent the kids, I think it opens, I sent the kids this Google slide deck, and I gave them an option at home. I said, you can print out, if color, not whatever, draw a stick figure, I don't care, but print me out, pop me on a stick. I showed them how to do it, and I said, just take me around with you and do some fun stuff. And I gave them choice. I said, just pick anything that you want to do. And I can't wait to see the ways that we hang out. I said, record it on a Flipgrid, put it on a Google slide deck. I don't know, make a video. I don't care what you do. I just want to see what we did together and how we hung out. And so I had students, one of my girls, she played violin with me, and I love it. She dressed up like me so we could be twins. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And then at the end of the week, I got this video from a student. She recorded all the different things she did with me throughout the week and made this amazing video. Hold on, let me go back. So she went on a walk with me. She crocheted throughout the week, and you can see her outfits changing. So she like really did it. And then she took me, we played games with her family. We went on a bike ride together. She listened to an audiobook with me. She like watched a movie with me. She played piano. It was amazing. She did chalk outside. She jumped rope with me. But by the time I got to the end of the video, like I was in tears. So she finished her project. She made a crocheted bunny. And one of the things on the choice board was a random act of kindness. So she took her bunny and she packaged it up and she dropped it off on her neighbor's doorstep for a baby. It was just the sweetest thing on the planet. So I was just so excited to see, and it was like reassuring for me because this is when it all had started. And I thought, you know, my kids are not going to have the opportunity to like pick their path, and we're all going to have to do like the same stuff. And I just was blown away at what they were able to do. So it was really cool. So this was another activity. The students were writing poetry, and I said, again, show your poetry and give me your poetry however you want. So some made a book, some just made collages, one made a huge poster. The student took her poem home and she created a tree with yarn and tire swings and stuff hanging, and it was like the story of her. It was incredible. Nothing I would have, if I had limited them to just do a book, then I feel like it wouldn't have been, you know, what the student was capable of. She's clearly artistic, and having the choice of how she wanted to portray that was really special for her, and she got to shine and show her individuality. So this was a project that we did this current year. So this was just a couple of weeks ago that we were learning about the different regions in the United States. And so I paired up kids in breakout groups, and I just put together a blank slide for them. The slide is right here on the bottom right. And I said, hey, together, you guys have a suitcase and you got to fill the suitcase. And you're going to just list at least 5 items, but you can go ahead and do more. And then you just have to give a justification. Why were those things packed in your suitcase for going to that different region? And then when all the groups were done, they just organized the book, and we had a traveling to the different regions book, and we had an overview of all the regions. So the kids had a really good time. They enjoyed getting to speak to somebody else other than me instead of just listening to me. And so they had fun pulling that together. So this is another project that we were just finishing up. We did a PBL. We were wrapping up our science unit. So students are learning about the planets and the solar system. So they had to take on the role of an engineer and a travel agent. So the driving question was, how can you as an engineer and a travel agent create a new resort on a planet in our solar system and show why it would be the most amazing vacation spot in the galaxy? So we guided them through what's a resort, what does amenities mean, what is an excursion, and how could we create this resort to get people excited to come. So they had some simple parameters that they just had to pick a planet or a moon to go to, research the destination. I said, remember, this is a science grade, so I need to see some facts incorporated into why you picked the excursions and why you picked the amenities at your resort. And then consider how the guests are going to go around and give some kind of visual representation. So I said, again, do whatever you want. So if you want to create a Google site, go ahead. You want to just do a drawing? Go ahead. You want to build something? Go ahead. And so sometimes my students, I was just talking to Jered about it, they have a hard time accepting that you really mean anything. Like I said, sure, just, let me know what it is that you want to do, and I'm sure it'll be fine. So this student created the Rings Resort, and she created a Google site, and her site kind of walked people through what they would find at the Rings Resort if they went to Saturn. So she talked about traveling there and like a little bit of the planet facts, the types of clothing that you would wear, how you would get around. and that you can go on different tours while you're there. Another student he took the route of drawing. So he created a drawing of his resort and he laid it out and he let us know all the different things that you could do if you travel to his resort on the moon. So it's the dark side resort. So that was really interesting. They're so excited because they're going to be sharing it with each other soon. I have another student, he took a different route. So he decided that he was going to build out of Legos. So he also built a website, but he built his resort and he took pictures and he was so proud of himself because it gave him that opportunity to get away from the screen and do something neat. And he incorporated his facts into it. And then I have a student, she just turned this into me yesterday. I was so excited. Okay, something that's really hysterical. So she went to, her resort is called Mercury Mania. And I looked at her website and I was like, I've been there. So this is a picture of a resort that I traveled to a year ago. I was like, how did you? And it was just a weird coincidence. But the cool thing is she created this video where she sold the resort. So this is on her website and she made this video. She went to school in the summer for interior design. So she was so excited to use her interior design skills. And she said, can I show you what the room looks like? I said, sure, whatever, that's fine. And then she created this video where she was a travel agent and she was the travel agent and she changed outfits. She was the mom booking the trip and she talked back and forth to each other and then showed us all about like what we can expect to happen if we went on this trip to Mars Mania. So she had such a great time creating it. And I think it gave her just a fun outlet, so it's just really reassuring and nice, I guess, to see when I've learned to let go more and more over the years as a teacher, instead of telling the students, I have this idea and this is what I want it to look like. I've learned to let go and say, what do you want it to look like? These are the requirements. How do you want to make that happen? And let me support you in that journey. And I get the coolest things.
Yeah, if you're getting the same project or the same assignment from every student, you're not personalizing their path, right? And that's fine at times. Maybe you don't want to do that every time. But as a teacher, it's hard to grade those assignments as well, especially if you get 120 of the same assignment. It's hard to give meaningful feedback or even care after even half of them. So, but this type of thing is exciting. You kind of see what they're capable of. You get to know them. You heard Chrissy talking about, oh, she learned interior design, or she, made connections with what she was doing. So I think the bottom line is, one takeaway from this presentation, we showed you lots of possibilities of ways that you can provide students with choice in their place, time, pace, and path of learning. So think big, but start small. And that's good for not only you, but also your students. Students need to learn how to learn in this way as well. And so just picking one assignment and personalizing that assignment or something like that can make a big difference. As we leave, we wanted to share some resources with you. These will be emailed out by Jenna probably tomorrow. But we do have there's a link to our program if you want to learn more about the program. We do have a second webinar that we'll be doing on November 17th. I have a free book that I wrote on personalized learning. I normally have one right next to me and I don't. No. Okay, Chrissy does. So we have a free book, a digital version, and look, she even put tabs in it. So that's how you know it's good. That you can access that talks about personalized learning and online integration. We also have created free guides on the online teaching mixtape, a visual guide for filming quality videos and engaging students in real time, some tips for the synchronous time that you have with students.
Super cool stuff. And I think it's so fun and user-friendly for teachers to go through. It's definitely a keeper.
Thanks. I also highlight Chrissy a lot in these guides too. So with that, we have a few minutes if anyone has any questions. And if you go down to the next slide, Chrissy, there's our email addresses. So if you want to contact us that way, that's great too. But thank you for coming. We'll kind of hang around. I know this is such a busy time for everybody. So thank you for spending a little bit of your time with us.